This is our destiny. We are the power.
Turn on the lights, everybody. It's Friday night ECL action here in North America. Boggs and Pineapple Phillips with you for the evening, and we have a top 20 ranked team. I should say a top 15 ranked team in the world in Pain Gaming, taking on the perennial gatekeepers of North American Challenger League in Mythic. Nate, it's always great to be back. It's season 45 now, and, well, it's a very interesting season already.
It's a very interesting season. I have no better idea on how to ring in the weekend than with some very good and very fun ECL Season 45 action. We're going to run through the whole rigmarole of different things to look at as we start a stream. As always, no schedule. This is the only stream today. You are stuck with us. You can't go anywhere to get away and look at some other ECL games. But we can talk about, of course, the groups for the season thus far. We have always talked about those. There's some interesting ones thus far. Pain, they have stumbled. They are not undefeated in their group. I believe their loss comes at the hands of Nouns. They are 4-1. Nouns close behind, hot on their heels at 3-0. Mythic actually taking a victory as well, 1-1 thus far in the season. As you mentioned, the perennial gatekeepers, and of course the elephant in the room, Boggs. We talk about Team 1. We talked about them, I believe, yesterday in private. From what I can tell, they are a dead team. They have broken up following the RMR.
Yeah, it looks like they are just going to call themselves out. They're 0-5 right now. I know they looks like they forfeited the majority of those matches, and I think they are going to be classified as a dead team in the very near future, which is a big shock because, I mean, this is a team that, if you've been around North American Counter-Strike for any bit of time, they've always been here. They've always been here with this core with Maluk and everybody else on it. And it's just kind of crazy to see them as a team that's no longer in. They have had significant problems, major issues, and, well, it's just now finally time for, I guess, Team 1 to reform, regroup, and I guess get a different roster. It's a bit of a shock to me. Pain losing to Nouns, I think, was a big, interesting matchup as well. I mean, Pain, they're going to the major, Nouns are not. But Nouns are also a team that kind of stick around, do a lot of good work. EG Black do not have one of their wins yet. I believe they played Nouns and lost. So they're a team we can expect towards the top. Mythic, their one win. Who was it against? I'm curious.
That's a great question. I think
it was against Timberman, as a matter of fact, which doesn't surprise me too much seeing their roster troubles coming into the season.
Yeah, some big roster swap-ups there. And then, of course, their one win, Mythic, or their one win came from Timberman. We just covered that. But their one loss comes, of course, at the hands of Nouns. But important to note, they did get a map off of Nouns. So, Mythic punching above their weight class a little bit there. And I'm hoping to see more of the same today. But we have to talk about something else for Mythic. Of course, the rosters. And there is an unfortunate swap-up. We do have Twice playing in place of Hate in this matchup, which of course only further hinders Mythic, if I had to guess.
I thought you were going to say, of course it means the inevitable, minus Twice, plus Twice. But, you know, it's always good to see Twice back in action. He is the sub for Mythic at this point, so he will slot in the place of Hate. We'll see if he's going to be up to snuff against the likes of Pain. Now, why don't we break down the vetoes, because that is where we will settle things in action here tonight. First ban went the way of Mythic. They got rid of Nuke. Not a bad idea against one of the best Nuke teams in the region, if not one of the top ones towards the world stage in Pain. Overpass banned by Pain Gaming. They hate it. It is one of their worst, so they remove that, get that out of here. First pick is Inferno, picked by Mythic, and Inferno was not one of Pain's best maps. They had a very scrappy win against the Fluffy Aimers, as a matter of fact, on that map, and the Mythic smell blood in the water.
Mythic definitely do smell blood in the water. It's a map that, again, is kind of picking that scrappy nature. Both teams have middling records on it, but Pain, a very close loss, actually, versus EG Black relatively recently. I believe that was yesterday on the map, means that they definitely can bleed on this one. In addition, of course, Mythic putting up okay numbers recently against Nouns, 9 versus 16, so still a loss, but a decent record, all things considered. And this is more so picking into your opponent's weakness rather than your strength. I'm expecting something scrappy. I'm expecting Mythic to come out the gate swinging for the fences. Of course, there's a second map. Second map being picked by Pain is Anubis. They are picking into their strengths there. They want to work on that map. They have a very solid record thus far, 9-2 record in the last 3 months. That said, though, Mythic, again, not too bad on this map either. 3-2 record. Played it versus Nouns and took it versus Nouns. So map 2 is also shaping up to be a potential barn burner box.
Yeah, I mean, it's 3-2. It's Mythic's only map with a positive win to loss ratio. And I think it's one where, especially depending on how well they can perform on Inferno, they could definitely take a stab at Pain. The only problem is Pain's wins come against ATK, Team 1, Greyhound, Rooster, and Made in Brazil. Some of this on LAN in international competition. So it's just a little bit of a higher level that Pain have taken on the map, more experience as obvious. And I mean, just looking at the maps played versus Pain and Mythic, it's about 40 maps higher per player on Pain than Mythic at a higher level of competition. They are definitely the heavy favorites here. I don't think we can say anything other than that. Mirage, the next ban by Mythic. Pain removing Ancient, leaving Vertigo as the decider. Another solid map for Pain, a map they have taken out the likes of OG on. And so that means that if it does go to a third, Mythic are going to have a bit of trouble. There are only 2 wins coming against Noxious and Davenport University, that ill-fated Davenport University roster. So, you mentioned how it's picking into Pain's weaknesses rather than Mythic's strengths on Inferno. The other thing to note is the fact that Overpass is the only other record map Mythic have that is not a negative win-to-loss ratio at an 8-8 even record, and that is the map which Pain decided, you know what, we're not touching that. Get it out of here. That's our ban. And Mythic had no option.
Mythic had no option, and additionally, like as you mentioned, Mythic's kind of just playing that NA gatekeeper role. They've been playing ECL. I don't think they play in the Cash Cups, or they might play with different players because, of course, the Flom issue with the partnership. So Pain, Mythic, play a lot of just domestic competition. As you mentioned, Pain have been hitting the international stage in a big way. The performance at Pro League is definitely a shining spot among those performances. So these stats, they're already better than Mythic's, and they're against opponents of an entirely different level, an entirely different scope. So things do look incredibly good for Pain. Of course, the rankings do kind of paint a picture as well. Number 14 versus number 106. And honestly, I don't see a world where Pain don't 2-0 in this one.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see a world in which Pain do not 2-0 this as well. I think Mythic are expecting a very tough, very dangerous fight. The lack of having hate as well is going to hurt Mythic more. Twice, he's a solid player. He's been around the block a while, but he's not exactly in form anymore either. So that is another issue. And the thing is, they lose the veto. They lose the general skill battle. They lose the experience in terms of recent time battle. I mean, Freakazoid and Cooper, they've been around the block a ton. But Pain, I would say Pain, the players on Pain, especially the Big Uzetas, the Hard Zows, they're starting to catch up to Freak in terms of international competition and longevity. So it's becoming a bit more even in that area as well. So Pain have all the favorability boxes checked. They just have to get the job done. And they're busting through everything so they can get to the major and not have to work.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, at this point, everything is going the way of Pain. I would say they are the veterans at this point. Sure, Mythic have that practice and that ability to kind of call on the fly due to their long history in this game. But overall, Pain at this point have more time at that top level, have more time even recently on that top level. Everything's going the way of Pain, and so honestly, if Mythic somehow find a map, I think that speaks more to a stumble of Pain rather than a praise for Mythic. Again, just due to their loose style, everything's going against Mythic right now, from the vetoes to the experience to the players, because we of course have that sub. So I don't see how things can get worse for them coming weeks.
Yeah, to throw out a hockey analogy, since it is NHL playoffs right now, it's like the Pittsburgh Penguins losing to the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Chicago Blackhawks when they needed one of those two games to have a chance to qualify for playoffs. They lost both of them. They didn't make it. That would be akin to Pain losing the series right now. It would be unconscionable a team towards the top of the world losing to one of the worst team, not really one of the worst, but like one of the teams that doesn't really have too much up against that top level. There's two tiers to this, and it seems that Pain, or rather Mythic, are out of their depth in this matchup, as does happen with a lot of the top versus the middle to bottom end of the teams in ECL. Mythic tend to be playing the relegation scrap now. Several seasons ago, they would be the team that was sitting in that 4th place into the playoffs, or maybe 5th place, just hanging out spot. Now they're down towards the bottom in a relegation scrap 9 times out of 10. And against teams like Pain, like Nouns in their group, EG as well, it seems like the gulf is starting to get bigger and bigger.
It does. Now, if there's one thing that Mythic can do, it's kind of their brand. They can make things entertaining.
Yes.
Let's be honest. They're all streamers. So they make things entertaining. One way or another, they will brute force this into the very least an entertaining game. And so I'm excited for it. Even if it's a game where it doesn't feel like there's much on the line, where it feels like it's kind of predestined to be this outcome, I do think it's going to be an entertaining one just because of the way this Mythic team brings the action, brings the heat.
Yes, they always bring the fire, they always bring the heat, they always put up a good performance. You don't see Mythic getting 16-0'd, 16-1, 16-5'd. They always find ways to put rounds on the board. They will hang around, they will be a nuisance, they will make it fun and entertaining. And that's one thing we all love about him. We love Flom. He does a lot for the scene. And it's always good to see him back in the server. I also like to see Truck Lover. I mean, he's been a prospect for a bit now in North America. I would like to see a little more of his potential, of his prowess come through. He struggled in the last 3 months. A pretty rough 67.3% cast, Nate, and a 0.87 HLTV. But enough vamping, enough talking, folks. We can get into the action here as we break into map number 1.
We bought enough time, Bugs. We bought enough time. We finally made it to the action. Again, talking about Truck as well. That's actually a really good point. I was going to mention that and totally forgot about it. I would love to see Truck come off to a heater. We saw him post his ace on Twitter. We saw him get all the likes. Do it in the server now. Do it when it matters, Truck.
You're calling him out. Saying he's got to get an ace against Pain Gaming.
I get a one-tap ace against 5. It was a 1v5 ace clutch with them taps.
So he's got to do that against Pain now.
Do it against Pain. I mean, do it in the server, man. I'm sorry, but it doesn't matter in the Face-It lobby, you know? Let's see it. He has the firepower. Bring it to the server. Pistol Round is finally live. Truck Lover in the apartment. Here we go. Call to action right underneath the barrels, though, of a Big U's era, and that's just a small crosshair change into a free one for the dualies, who quickly exit the apartments. Nice start for Pain Gaming, but Mythic, they are now pushing up. In fact, they have a player all the way in the arch. It's a bit of a two-pronged attack towards the A site. Zevi drops Flom. Cooper gets one on the Glock, but Biggie's era in response, a one-tap dirt nap with one of the two dualies. Cooper and Twice trying to make it competitive, bringing it back to an even 2 versus 2, but Skulls is ready with the nade for the bomb plant, and do they have armor? Cooper does, but in the meanwhile, Keys drops Twice. These nades could just take him down and do him in before the retake even has to begin. They do. Kobe, as Skulls finds Cooper, and the pistol round for Pain.
The bomb plant, though, is a pretty big win for Mythic, and that's going to be a force spot into the next round if they so desire, which they probably will. They can get some Galils. Cooper can get an AK armor. It's more than worth going all in here, and I will say there was a nice little double stack up in halls, too, between Hard Zao and Biguzetta. Bigu had the first angle up close and personal. Hard Zao was right behind him, watching his bedroom, but also being able to basically 90-degree flick over and have his back towards stairs. So good little micro details from Pain. Good A hold. Yes, they do surrender the bomb plant, but they win it nonetheless. AK armor for Coop. Galil's on the rest. Truck Lover on the Deagle. He's going to have to hit some one-taps here. Maybe make it a Kayota, but it's not going to be the easiest round to have a big impact on the Deagle against the full bot. Pain Gaming, 2 MP9s, 3 A1Ss, and a good amount of utility. They do have the kit too, always good to note. And the keys, so that's an ugly fight, but he wins it.
He wins it. It was against a rifle. That's an important one to find. Good start. Nade to follow up. Does do a lot of damage to Cooper as well, just below 40. And as you mentioned, Truck on just the Deagle. He bought utility for the team. He is the selfless support player in this round. He'll get dropped a rifle. Was quickly brought back, and the keys, he'll swap his rifle for an MP9 on low HP. Smart calls from both teams. Mythic Where are they grouping up? It's towards B. 3 players here. Yes, 3 lined up towards Banana. 1 lurking in the apartments, looking for maybe a rotation or something similar twice. The sub has to be careful here. He's broken. There's 2 players waiting. He gets some damage in another scrappy fight, but it's won by Zevi and Hardzao, combining fire towards the porch side, furthering the advantage for Pain Gaming. Mythic, they are now bringing the traps, bringing the fake over towards B, but there are players already waiting. 1 up top. Big Uzera finds 1. As well, supporting back behind will ensure that no pushes come through in response. Flom and Truck at this point, all they can really hope for is the plant. They'll get that, but Big U boosts it up, finds 1, finds 2. It's a clean and flawless one. The MP9 can be upgraded to a rifle, preferably an AK. If there was one, it might have just been Glils. But
there was that one
matter.
AK for Coop.
Yeah, there was the one hero rifle. But in the second round, as expected for Pain Gaming.
Yep, 2 on the board now for Pain. And Mythic will not be on a buy this time. Maybe a half buy, a couple of upgraded pistols, some armor, a little bit of utility here and there. Just try to eke out a bomb plant again. Do some damage, especially as they failed to get any kills in the previous round. Ooh, Icarus fell on Zevi. Don't see that skin every day.
It's an old one now. It matches the gloves as well. All these players have matching uniforms, it appears.
I love it.
All right, so Big U on the green drip.
Yep. I'm a blue guy, so Zevi's definitely checking out the boxes
it's a
here.
Deeper blue than the gloves. It doesn't match perfectly, but it still does work out.
I don't think there's a deeper blue glove, though. That's the problem.
There's not as nice as those ones.
Well, maybe Flom and his red lineup can get a kill or 2.
Speaking of lineups, finds Freakazoid through the smoke. Good start. Just pistols for Mythic. They're on a half buy. They're trying to save for rifles in the following. Twice and Flom, they're already making it expensive, and Zevi runs out of rounds. He's in a very desperate spot. He'll get support, or really, Truck Lover takes him down. Truck takes a second. He'll be finally dropped from the round, but the damage has been done. 3 kills for the pistols is a lot of damage, far more than could be asked.
Yeah, that's more damage than they got out of their rifle buy, and a very good result for Mythic, rectifying that previous inability to get kills. And now it's not as overwhelming of a CT economy they go up against here. Opt for both sides, Cooper versus Zevi. And Zevi, he's been able to do it on the land stage, qualifying for majors and the like. He's a very explosive, electrifying offer, and I love watching him play. I'm excited to see what he could do here. Look at that. I couldn't see him, but, you know, different settings. This is the cinematic setting. Players dial their settings down to nothing so they can see through the smoke of the Molotovs, the nade explosions, and all that jazz. And Zevi does not panic. He does not fight. He does not flinch. He gets the job done. And that's a chunky one from the keys on the Cooper.
The damage from Pain has already been punishing. Brutal. That's how Inferno is, though, especially towards the banana. Good kill from Twice, lurking out towards the apartments. He'll actually spur the team on towards this A site. Big goes effect though unchecked, finds 1, finds 2. He also found the 3rd on the Twice in the apartments. Keep that in mind. Leaves just Cooper, Glock in hand. He'll find the 1st. He'll find the 2nd flying. Okay. Makes a skull out of skulls on the kill feed. Leaves 2 remaining for the defense, Nakiz and Zevi. And I imagine that player in the cubby wants to wait for his teammate, but no, he swings. Cooper finds yet another. Surely he doesn't pull off the 1 versus 4. 12 HP, the op's the ideal weapon. And this one, the pistol's out for Zevi. He misses the shot, and now it becomes far more doable. Cooper dancing, spots the jump up, gets the kill. Cooper, a 1 versus 4 to get the team on the board. And that's the kind of flashy, exciting play we expect to see from a team like Team Mythic.
Cooper puts the team in his backpack, marches them all the way up to get an early round on the board. And Pain Gaming are going to be on a half buy. Skulls can hero rifle, he has money. Big U can grab a D, but it's not going to be pretty overall. Pain, because of the casualties sustained in round 3, they are broke, they are destitute. And all they've got is an M4 and stock pistols. This is far from ideal. Cooper's just given Mythic a road for a 2nd round as well, and maybe even push for more. It's a very good, almost ideal early start for Mythic if you couldn't get that 1st round or the force. Flashing towards Skulls, though, but he only gets 1. That's not enough. That was the armor. That was the Juggernaut play. And Freakazoid will give us a vintage showing of the entries up Banana. That's B-side pretty much open for business. Big Zeta rotating in, but the rest of his teammates are all fallen now as Truck Lover catches off Zevi towards Cubby. And Big U, what can he really do from here? He grabs the A1, but Freak now knows he's there.
It's the rifle, gets away. Maybe an opportunity to find Freakazoid. That's some damage, but Nope, Freakazoid finds him through that smoke as it fades. And a second on the board for Mythic, an expected second, but still, this is a remarkable recovery. There's no way Cooper should be stealing a 1 versus 4 in the fashion that he did. It completely changes the trajectory of the early goings in map number 1. Hey, this is what they were expecting. Some scrappy bouts on Inferno.
Scrappy. It is Inferno. It's back and forth, and CT economy is never forgiving, especially on this very map here. Galil's for Truck Lover and Twice. Famas for Skulls, MP9 for Hardzao. Naki's taking some fights, eating the nades, and getting punished there by Freakazoid. Takes a bit of damage on his own right, down to half HP, but that's an advantage for Mythic to work with here in round number 6. Utility being shuffled around, getting ready to go in for a take. Skulls now having to solo B, Zevi on late rotation, with some pressure and eyes still watching out towards A from Mythic, potentially trying to catch rotations out of the CT side.
5 versus 4. You know the economy is belabored. They don't know how belabored. Hardzao and Skulls on those that MP9 and that Famas as you mentioned. And keep in mind that Famas is trying to hold down B alone. They finally rotate a player, and that's Zevi, who has no utility. But Mythic have indeed changed course. You mentioned it. It was a possibility, and now it comes to fruition. There's only 2 defenders on this A site. It's Big U and Hardzao. The MP9 has to do a lot to boost it up. It won't be cleared properly, so it'll find 1. Flom, though, double entries in response. The old man can still learn new tricks, dropping both Hardzao and Big U's era. Zevi and Skulls both were towards B, and both have already cut ties with the round. M4 and Famas being saved for the following, and a third, a tying score for Team Mythic, again, finding a second wind early on in this half, and that is encouraging for their possibility of winning this first map.
Yeah, the save's going to be good for Pain, but the fact that Mythic's already tied it up is very good for them. It's incredibly good to get this one all tied up again very early, get as many rounds as they can on the T side of things. Mythic only a 42.9% win rate on T Inferno. They're much better on the CT side of things. And that does not bode too well for Pain, who are also stronger on the CT side, although just barely. So 47.5 versus 46. But Mythic, they're starting to build into this one. They're starting to build a little bit stronger here. Now, Freakazoid's starting to get activated. Cooper hasn't had a single kill since his 1v4. I'd just like to add.
He's done more than enough this first half at this point.
Oh, yeah.
He's a T-side opper on Inferno. He started this off, not only that, but he's a T-side opper on Inferno. You don't expect to find much success. You're a niche player. You're finding a very slim opening by a very tight angle. Your team has to play around you, and yet when all of your teammates are dead, you find a 1 versus 4. That's more than enough for the rest of the half, I would say. He's worth his weight in gold at this point.
Oh boy, Naki's just jiggle peeking with utility.
Yeah. The second brother now also finding the entries, also coming in huge for his team, opening the round. This is a half buy, but it's a scary one with those save rifles on Zevi and Skulls. Cooper stays alive by 1 HP. He'll molly off Banana and head on out towards the safer waters. Hardzao and Zevi. At this point, Hardzao is probably going to look for a rifle either on Twice's body or on his teammates. I don't know where that Famas was dropped. But there we go. M4 in hand. 2 M4s being saved. That's a decent outcome. We'll have to see if Team Mythic will actually allow it.
Mythic's starting to build up a bit of bank, but they do have a Molotov. They can go for this. As long as Cooper's not the one fighting, then it's fine. Flom's all the way down in T stairs. He's looking for somebody to find, but I don't think he's going to catch anybody off guard. Far too far away. And
Freak could. He's in the library.
Freak could. Molotov goes into Hardzao's position, but it's far too deep. So everybody who's left now will survive. 6 players total. But Mythic take an early lead now against Pain Gaming. 4 in a row after that Cooper 1v4. Pain back on a buy, but I would like to see a timeout from Pain come in pretty quickly, because what they're doing right now is not working on their CT side. And if they don't want this to go 3, they need to start riding the ship pretty quickly.
They really do. This is a very streaky map. That was how it was described to me by an analyst back in the day. And I agree entirely. At this point, the streak is thoroughly going the way of Mythic. They have now 4 in a row to answer Pain's earlier 3 from the pistol round victory. So things are already looking a little bit troublesome for the defense of Pain. They do have the best buy we've seen in quite a while. The best buy they probably had this whole game. Op, rifles, good utility kits, everything they should desire, but the Halls pop is not expected. The possibility is neglected, and so there is an opening and a second 2-for-1. Site taken. No smoke speedway. It is thrown by Cooper. That's the site taken, and these 3 players, they might already contemplate the save. Zevi, Skulls, Nakis, they have a good utility for the retake, but again, a man disadvantage situation makes things very difficult. And yep, there we go. It's Inferno. North American Inferno equals Save Simulator, and this round is no different.
Save Simulator. It's now 2023, but when did this map iteration come out again? 2016?
Has it been? Am I that old? Logs, don't say that.
I think we're that old, Nate.
Oh. I still remember Claustrophobic Inferno.
You can fact check me, but I'm 90% sure this iteration of Inferno came out in 2016.
Definitely could be the case. Of course.
Either way, it's been around for a long time, and I still have an inclination to call it Inferno.
I do too. I honestly, you know what? I'll say it. I miss the cold, uncaring, claustrophobic Inferno of old.
Banana. Old banana.
Old banana is exactly what I'm thinking of. The arch.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Just
the
a
whole,
true
like,
meat grinder. A true meat grinder.
2 Molotovs and a flash. Good luck. Have fun getting up that.
I think utility damage is bad on Inferno 2.0. Or just go back to the old days.
Oh, yeah. And then the actual lamp in pit that you could, like, jump on and do things with.
Oh, yeah. The bevel. Oh, it's a no-holds-barred aggression down Banana. Pain Gaming wouldn't bring the pain to their opponents, but it's only mixed results. 1-for-1. Good damage, though. Again, both teams finding good damage towards Banana. It has been mainly Pain more consistently, but every once in a while, Pain Gaming will get punished by those grenades thrown up top.
I like the boost up for Bigu. Hard's out playing in porch, but he's going to get caught. You can't get seen from that angle if somebody swings out through brackets, through top mid. Twice. He does get 1, or rather Truck gets 1, but twice gets traded. Truck, though, doubles up. Bigu is now stuck between a rock and a hard place. He's got to try and not get caught from either direction. Pincered in and put down by the Truck lover. And he's going to grab his 3rd of the round as he joins the kill feed. Zevi has nothing to do in this round besides save. He cannot get back into the site. So he'll just keep an op in hand. It's 6 straight rounds now for Mythic, Nate, and not a timeout called by Pain Gaming.
At this point, the following round, this is a round where they saved a good amount of money on most players. They have that max loss bonus. So Hard Zao and Big U might have a little bit of an issue investing, but everybody else should be able to more than cover their bases. And so this round, going into round, what will it be? Number 10?
Yep.
This would be a very apt time for a timeout, especially if Zevi can save this op. Play around him. Let him find an opening. Send him down Banana with a Furious Smoke. Do something to change things up and find an early opening, because thus far, the openings have been met with mixed results at best.
Mixed results at best. It's been rough for Pain. Yeah, they got the pistol round, but it wasn't clean. The second round was the best round for Pain. That was against a 4-spy Mythic. Since then, it's all been pretty bleak. They almost lost the ensuing anti-eco. And from then on, Cooper got the 1v4, and Mythic have not looked back since. No timeout from Pain Gaming. Granted, they're probably saving setups and strats for the major, which is not that far off now. Ooh, there we go. That's the first opening pick Pain have had in a very long time.
I think it's the first time we've seen the op play there as well. That's a very commanding spot to play with the op for Zevi. Oh my god, his entries have been infallible towards Banana. Indomitable, in fact. He'll finally be felled, but not before finding his customary first. 4 versus 3 leaves Mythic a man down, but not out of the round. Still have that up on Cooper. We've seen what he can do alone versus 4. We also have the support in the wings of Flom and Twice. Cooper, though, there we go. The op, the aforementioned op, taken out of the round. Becoming more and more bleak. Flom, it's his turn. He's picking up Big Green, I haven't seen him use it in a little while. He's taking up the mantle of primary op in his teammates' stead. Swinging out. Oh, he gets a tag through the wall. Or was that the nade? Not sure.
That was
One
the
or
tag,
other.
I think.
He did throw the nade as well, so it might have been the nade. It's like 41 damage does, you think, grenade, but who knows? Either way, there's still 2 on this site defending. 2 close on the arch. Hards out, jumping up, drops twice, and now Flom's up the creek without a paddle. 25 seconds left behind the hay cart, and at this point, the player pushing arch has him trapped in and stuck. Keys, paranoid as ever, will molly off the banana, make sure that no one can plant there, but Flom, there's nothing you can do. Is barrel spotted, I'm pretty sure. Nope, maybe not. But there's no way he lives it. 10 seconds left. He'll get peeked. Big Uzera, no respect. Catches him looking, in fact. And we do, at long last, see Pain Gaming return to the scoreboard after being absent for 6 rounds.
No timeout, just a good opening pick from Zevi and the rest of the team winning their fights outright. Freak, though, his entries have been incredible. It's like he's rolling back the years, Nate. It's been good to watch Freakazoid again back in the server and doing what he's doing here now against Pain Gaming of all teams. Full buy again, though, for Mythic. They have a little bit of cash still built up for a further buy should they lose this next round. Pain are still on the brink of a reset, so they have to be very careful with how many players they do lose if they win. Spam a little bit late for Hardzao. Cooper in front of it, the Molotov ticks go a little bit too far. They do grab him, and a little bit more further damage from the nade, dropping Cooper just under 50 HP. Freak down to 74. Still, 5 alive for both sides. Good amount of time on the clock, and an A lurk has turned into an A exec from Mythic unless they want to fade away and head back to B. If Freakazoid can get a couple of picks over towards the banana car position, Big Uzetta smells of something towards B, and he's going to head that direction. Great flash from Cooper. I believe this is a self-flash for Cooper. He gives himself the entry.
Was a self-flash. Again, the op is so unwieldy on the T side, but he's making it shine. Very well done to find the opening, and Pain Gaming had the wrong read of the situation. They will rectify it by rotating that player back over, but it's still only 2 players defending A. Hardzao on the balcony finds a good timing onto the first. That's Cooper. The op traded out eventually. The 4 versus 4 always favors the T's. Freakazoid, when does he spring this trap? There are 2 players waiting, one in anti-flash. He does not win it this time around. He's finally felled without an opening in his favor. The Keys finds that kill. Now the bomb is kind of left directionless. 25 seconds left. They were going back towards B. That's why Freakazoid activated, and with him falling, Mythic is kind of waffling between the 2. Twice will get control of brackets. He will begin to press forward, but there's a player on the site as well as Small Pit. This player on the site is encircled. Hardzao, though, bails him out with 1. Twice good trade. 8 seconds left. Big U finally springs. Finds 1. Dances with the second. Truck Lover has to be a lover this round. He has to find the victory. 1 versus 3 is what's asked. He found the first, but he does not get the plant. I thought he had it, but
I did
obviously not. And he dies without getting any loss bonus because of that.
That's a rough one for Truck Lover, and he was one of the players without a lot of residual bank account. So he'll get dropped in AK. Everybody else will have one as well, except for Cooper, who's on a big green gun. But now it's Payton's turn to try and build up an economy, try and tie things up, come from the backside and take a lead. 3K for Skulls, 2.5, 2.4. Not bad for those 3. Biggie, Zeta, Nekis joining that group. Zevi a little bit rougher, and Hardzao absolutely broke at 250. Mythic still have Pain in a pretty painful position should they lose without getting much in return. Might even spawn an early save. Freaks just naded down to oblivion. 5 HP on the nade stack banana. Counter utility being thrown by Mythic, not doing half as much damage. And now Mythic starting to probe their way up forward. Do have 2 players on the lurk. If that yields a kill, it could signal a rotation. Skulls, though. He's in front of the Molotovs. And he'll get away from Freaks, and I don't think he saw him either.
I don't think he did. You might have seen that player up top logged on the map as he hopped by. But no one falls, and that's what's most important. That's a good nade. Does even more damage. Flom and Cooper. Flom at below 70. Cooper at about 50. Nades are punishing, and Nikis flashed in. Finds a good headshot. Those other players now stopped in their tracks. They will tenuously peek forward in hopes of finding something, but Nikis gets a second. Will this player top logs finally find something? No, instead it's twice to open it up. He's towards the apartments, but that opening does not come without a cost. Down to 38. Truck Lover Banana doesn't find a clean kill either, and with 30 seconds left, again, Mythic kind of just stuck, probing in different directions and throwing things at the wall in hopes that they stick.
Yeah, with the HP they have, though, they really don't have too many options. Truck Lover's the only guy with any sort of real hit points. He's going to go first with the bomb. That's never something you want to see, but with the time they have available, it's not great. Zevi with the first one, now looking towards apartments. Nikis pushing down Banana, tossing out guns, grabbing others. Save called for Freakazoid twice. And a hunt has been initiated by Pain, looking to take these guns out of the hands of the Mythic players. Big doesn't spot anybody out on bridge. Twice and Freakazoid will survive, but now Mythic come to the end of their bank accounts, and they will have to invest what they can. It saved AKs, the op back in the hands of Cooper. I guess that op was saved over, but one AK purchased, a MAC-10 for Flom, a Deagle for Truck Lover.
Selfless.
Again, the selfless player.
Yep. Is that team that utility they need? 3 players on full utility, twice as a bit on the belt. Cooper has nothing, and Cooper doesn't even have his life either. Taken down by Zevi, loses the op dual middle, and now we see Pain Gaming begin to emerge from their slumber. They've already won, what is that, 3 in a row now?
Yep.
With that op duel, I would say that the momentum has fully shifted. Zevi's coming alive, and that's when things get difficult for Mythic. As Flom again takes up the mantle of head op in his teammate's stead. Nikis speaking down, no fear finds one. Flom does get the trade. Still favors Pain. Twice has been a menace. A monster in the apartments. He's fun to pick more often than not.
Zevi. You got a clear boiler, buddy. That's a rookie mistake. That's one of those angles you have to clear every single time. Because the one time you don't, that happens.
There's no excuse. And they've got a player at holes lurking every round. It's Freakazoid towards Banana, going for those threatening openings, and it's twice towards the apartment. It's been that almost every single round. That's how they keep both sides open as an opportunity. So the fact that that's overlooked is very worrying. One player in the pit now to hold things down. He's mollied out. He's found twice a second towards A. He's coming alive. You love to see the substitute finding his footing. Skulls and Big Uzera 2 versus 3. This is doable, but it's going to be difficult. They don't have utility. They have M4s and kits. The question is, do they want to go for it? We know how Inferno is the North American save simulator. It looks like with the money they've built up on a majority of the players, looking at Skulls, looking at Nikis and Zevi, they might just at least try for exits.
No utility makes it harder. Chimney Flash would make this take so much more agreeable, but it's going to be a fadeaway unless Twice has just moved a little bit too quickly. He might get caught off. He's making all the noise, and he is dead. The last 2 players should survive in pit. Flom should be good on the body block by Truck Lover. Yep, he's fine. And there's a lead again for Mythic. And it comes off of a couple mistakes from Pain Gaming. You said it in the pre-show, Nate. It would be more on Pain's hands if they lost a map against Mythic than it would be on Mythic overperforming. And a lot of Pain's rounds have come from little mistakes, overextensions, early peaks, peaking alone from Pain when they didn't necessarily need to. That has opened the door for Mythic to take advantage. And they have not looked the gift horse in the mouth.
They have not. They're making the most of it of what they've been given. Op for Cooper present. Same for Zevi. Decent buys, all things considered for both teams. Bit of a swing round. Zevi, though, this time around sticking in the apartments, taking the fight to a head early versus Twice. Does win it. Good start, but still a lot more to do for Pain Gaming. Player in the apartments, good pre-fire from Big Uzera, catching Cooper, tagging him, but not bagging him. That's the critical factor. The op does strike through the wall. It brings us back to even footing. Pain Gaming quickly pivot back to a 2-2 setup. But Mythic have a direction. They are going towards the banana. Bomb is rotating around. All 4 players will be here for this exec, and this double stack towards second orange's top and bottom has to be big for Pain.
Utility flying in, but Skull still manages to fight through the flashbangs. That keys up top combines with Skulls, and on the last round of the magazine, or second to last round of the mag, He picks up Cooper as well. Freakazoid does get the trade. Molotovs flying in. They will not singe him. He gets the bomb down. Zevi around that smoke making noise, but does not overextend. Should wait for Hard Zao to peek through. The smoke towards CT will fade eventually. That will spur him on towards this play. Freak dropping down. Zevi and Hard Zao going together, peeking around each other. Good little dink from Hard Zao. There's a 7th on the board. We will have an 8-7 half here. The question is, does it go the way of Pain or does it go the way of Mythic? And as of right now, I can't really put my finger on it one way or the other. There is advantage to Pain, given the lack of economy for Mythic. But it's not like they haven't done damage with the lack of a buy before. And Freakazoid does have the AK to try and end trail, though he has cooled off a little bit in the last few rounds.
Everybody had a shining moment on Mythic, but they have cooled off considerably. Flom, I'd say, is the one person who's not had a shining moment, but I don't want to single him out. He has plenty of time to wake up in this best of 3. Freak. You mentioned it, entering towards Banana, AK in hand. He's one of those 2 hero riflers, him and Cooper, the brother. But again, this Pain utility. Damaging, costly. Flom at half, Freak at 77. Freak goes tit for tat, doing some damage to Zevi in response. Still no casualties on either side of the equation, but there we go. A nade in response, back and forth, exchanging broadsides. Zevi's down to 31. Freak is always down to 32.
It's a little easier to soak up that damage on the op, though. That's the other thing. The op, it can still get the one-shots done. A lot easier than having to hit an AK headshot, especially for an entry, too. An entry, half the time, you can take 1-2 shots before you even get something back down range. Nakizan gets flommed, twice does trade out. Skull's only good for 1 as well. That's not good enough at all. Zevi, the low HP opper, trying to rotate in, save the day for his squad as we near the conclusion of half number 1 of this best of 3 series. Pain and Mythic. Boggs and Pineapple Phillips on the mic. Ches Puff on the sticks observing tonight. Zevi. He looks for an opening, but he has utility.
Looks for something, anything. All 3 players approaching from the CT side. Looks like they're all going towards the construction halls as well. Player Pit, Player Banana, player towards the box for Mythic. It's a very solid setup, and now it's their turn to do the nade damage. Cooper drops big, and time is taken away. Keep in mind, there's no point in saving his last start of the half. Zevi will find 1. Player CT does get 1 as well. It leaves Truck in the clutch. He's found him the first time, sticking away, but the stick is coming through. He'll find it. Mythic steal the lead at the end of the half. We'll see you after a break.
Or right now.
Oh.
You happy? How many nights will you make this decision? Nights and tears in this blurry of vision. You know he don't love you. What you holding on to? Scream through the phone even though he won't listen. So I'm still at your place, trying to make it okay. He's miles away, I'm left here with you. Say that you just need someone caring for you. When will you see me more than you rescue? I'm doing everything he doesn't do, but I'm still not enough. Even your parents know I'm good for you, but I'm still not enough. You wanna be done with him, you're stuck with him, 'cause you don't have the guts. And after all I've done, I'm still not enough. Still at your place, trying to make it okay. He's miles away, I'm left here with you. Say that you just need someone caring for you. When will you see me more than you rescue?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. A scrappy and streaky first half ends ever so tenuously in the favor of Mythic as they enter their CT side. I'm Pineapple Phillips, joined by Boggs. And Boggs, this is Mythic's favored side of the map. There is a distinct possibility that they upset Pain Gaming on map 1.
A very distinct possibility now, given the fact that both teams are favored on the CT side. Neither team necessarily has a sterling record on this map. But now Mythic have a huge advantage, and Cooper, I would say as well, has a big advantage because of the fact that he now has the easier side to opt from, and he has had the better of the impact as opposed to Zevi. So, a very prime opportunity for Mythic to take map 1. We did say that Inferno was a map which Pain had bled before, and the old saying is, if you can make God bleed. So, Mythic, they smell the blood. They're looking for the jugular as Pain charge into a stack B side. Big Luzana, the double entry on the Glocks. Bomb can go down here. Skulls through the smoke up the spot on Flom on the jump. Cooper in twice, and now just Cooper is left alone, I should say, and I don't think Cooper wants to go for this because there's really no reason to lose his Kevlar. He's just going to hang out and wait for the next round because Pain Gaming have tied things up at 8.
Yes, they have, and things are looking so good for Mythic. Pain putting a lot of stake in their utility. 2 players buying up smokes for just a stock standard. Almost what you'd see in matchmaking. I hate to disparage the play like that, but you know, it's a double smoke towards Coffin, double smoke towards CT. Which makes those players very squishy for the USPs.
Yeah.
At close range, it'll be like a 4-shot kill. So things do look a little bit scary there for Pain Gaming, considering the fact they're walking into a stacked B site, but their shots do not miss. Their aim rings true, and so they see the round through, tying things up at 8 apiece. Cooper does save his Kevlar for the following. Will he upgrade to a helmet for 350? Yes, he will. Deagle in hand as well. Means that Mythic are going for the investment. Are they saving a bit of money? Yes, Cooper is at 1,000 in the bank for the op in the first rifle round. We saw Mythic find good damage with pistols in the first half. We'll see if they can do the same in the second.
It's theoretically easier to get the pistols to work on the CT side, but sometimes just going aggressive, pushing in as a T does make it a little bit better. Deagles has a shotgun up close and personal. 5.7s are deadly. Flom. Just gonna look for something. Zevi's blind spray doesn't find any damage. Not too much taken overall. Only Cooper tagged down by 22 HP. Bomb very far away for Pain. They're looking for kills. Nade's well placed. Actually, it goes between everybody, so it doesn't do much damage at all. Unfortunate for Mythic. And some unconfirmed damage by Skulls. Continues to just chunk Cooper away. Now it's twice his turn to get eaten up, but neither player has fallen just yet. Time starting to dwindle as well. 8 the score, a minute on the clock. And now Cooper's all but dead. Now there is an interesting factoid, Nate, about dead as a doornail being a phrase, actually meaning like a nail that was used for an old like medieval door could never be used again because of something they would do to it. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head why, but that's where the phrase comes from.
I love the lore. Filling out the universe twice. His team's taking a myriad of damage from a variety of different sources, and yet he's the one to find the opening. 5.7 in the apartments, his old stomping grounds. He'll get one and run amok before finally falling. Though, looking to make this scrappy, who said that was what they had to do in this one. And Flom jumping down Banana does exactly that. He drops Hard Zao, who was just covering his team's bases. And then meanwhile, Pain Gaming do take control of A, but with a 4 versus 3 team, Mythic might just try to deathball into this site.
Down goes Flom. Cooper still on 14 HP. Zevi continues his spray and grabs himself another kill. He's feasting on the anti-eco frags. Cooper and Freak now probably just going to go for exits. Freak might upgrade and he will grab an AK. Will he be allowed to save? Yes, he will as he fights his... Never mind. He fights one too long. Could have saved that AK.
Score shirt. Skulls is gone, isn't he? Almost. If he did a little bit more damage there, he would have fallen.
Yep. And actually, I think Freak didn't have a choice. I don't think he could have gotten out in time.
No.
Because of the bomb radius. So he had to go for another fight.
That's a curious knife bombs. We've been talking about skins on and off and on. You see that? The gold.
That is a gold case hardened, a gold
cool.
gem.
That is cool.
And the gold gloves to match it.
Tan gloves, the red gloves, and the marble fade as well. There's so many good skins in this server. For Pain specifically, I'll say it.
Yep. Truck Lover's got the purple and green. He's got the Hulk combo.
Truck Lover also has the X-Ray AK, which, by the way, is one of my favorite AKs. A lot of people don't like it. It's a classic. Looks far better than the M4 X-Ray.
Yeah, the M4 is pretty meh.
It's too muted. Early contact potentially. Good flash in, finds one. There's a player boosted on the outside. Okay. That he was inside on the stairs, not the case. It's just pistols. You can't really expect too much of them. Some have Kevlar behind them, and some are upgraded, sure. Thank you, though. Doing his best Freakazoid impression. Finds one spot the second towards Banana. His teammate will take that kill instead. Freakazoid caught by his own play. Pushing through the smoke up close on the wall. Leaves Flom and Twice. 2 A players. Will find Twice. Blindsides him. It's just Flom. USP and nothing more. He's caught. It's a clean round for Pain. They find their footing and they extend their lead to 2. This is where Mythic has to put their foot down. They have enough to buy. They have the op for Cooper. They have M4s. They should have a kit. We'll see if they get one. It should be where they bring it back.
If they don't have a kit, I'm calling Flom and complaining.
It's bold of you to assume that you have his phone number. I can guarantee you he will ego us.
We have a direct line to Flom. Oh, how do they not have a kit? How do they not have a kit? Oh, this is painful.
You feel like you'd cast or curse it into reality where they just bring it, you know? But no, it's the opposite. We mention it, and of course it happens. You can't win. You can't win.
You can't win, and it's a lot harder to win without a kit. So, you know, lesson learned, kids. Always buy a diffuser if you can afford it. There's very few situations where you shouldn't buy a diffuse kit. In a situation like this where you can go without a helmet, diffuse kit can make all the difference in a round. Especially with a lot hanging in the balance, too, because a loss here without any saved guns or even one saved gun is pretty much going to reset Mythic, giving Pain a free road to a 12th round. And that's where things get very, very hard to make a comeback happen because there's so little margin for error that one little thing goes wrong and you're just done and dusted. So it's a tough road for Mythic, and it could just get tougher here. That's an interesting boost, though. Chess, can we get third person on that? Or if they're still there?
He must be looking in the apartments. He must be looking for Twice. This is an anti-Twice play if I've ever seen it. They're trying to suss out Twice, trying to suss out the sub, and he will not go quietly. He finds one, Cooper a second. Finally, Team Mythic finding their footing on the CT side. Twice not getting too big for his britches either, falling back out of the apartments, playing with his teammate Pit, I should say. That's Flom with the A1S. This is a good setup. In fact, there's 8 seconds left. Pain Gaming have squandered away the round. 3 players will try to save their weapons. A suite of AKs, a trio of AKs.
3 of the kind.
And there we go. Twice again, caught trying to upgrade his weapon. That's the second time we've seen it in like 3 rounds.
Oh, that's painful.
In the exact same spot as well. He did it in Boiler in the exact same way, peeking around the corner, and then he did it up towards the long haul.
Oh, twice. There is saying that the burned hand teaches best. I don't think his hand has been burned enough yet, or he just doesn't mind the pain.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. That was the pun. I don't have to say the rest.
Fool me twice, minus twice.
Okay. End it with plus twice.
This is a minus twice plus twice map, so, you know, it is the old story. That's a chunky nade by Pain, and Truck Lover just eats that all up.
Pain have been winning the utility duels, both on CT and T side.
Yeah. I would say Pain needed to speed it up, though, because part of the problem last round was that they waited too long to make a move, and Mythic got too comfortable and entrenched. Pain do better when they go faster.
They do. And again, that boost up in the alt mid was funny. It was cool. Useful is a different story. Speaking of useful, baby. Oh my goodness, so much spam damage. Some taking in return, but Nikis gets the job done eventually. player towards the truck side will fall away quickly. Flom is here to support. It's Cooper and Flom, but the keys in the apartments could find a big kill. He's made noise, sure, but jumping down on that op makes things very difficult for Cooper. Flom has to bail his team out in a big way. He finds one, only one. Good shot from Skulls in response. Do they expect the op there, though? Towards the truck side. The answer is no. Cooper gets one, falls away. Zevi has to make inroads elsewhere. Good read, good find onto Freakazoid. Cooper now doing a lot, trying to do a lot, I should say, but can't find another. It's a big use there, taking the high ground to find that kill and to send Truck Lover saving. He's all the way towards B. He has no horse in this race, and so Pain Gaming will again establish their lead of 2 rounds.
2-round lead for Pain. And it's pretty close to a reset as well. Mythic could half by. They might be able to scrounge together some more rifle power. But Bigu had the gold gem AK as well. I think he's a gold. I think he's a fan of yellow and gold, Nate.
I didn't see it. I totally missed it. I want to see it.
It's a gold gem case hardened AK.
I'll say it with just a fun little thought experiment. That you saw that AK with the dig hollows on it, right? Mm-hmm. Expensive old dig hollows, sure, but those with that gold background on a gold case hardened AK would go so hard.
Ooh.
So hard.
Yeah. That would go really nice.
Match pause called. I'm assuming this is a technical pause.
Yeah, I'm checking the logs here. Yeah, it's a tech pause here.
Tech pause? Okay. Hopefully not a long one.
No, it's just a regular timeout, I think.
It's a regular timeout? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. It's a mythic timeout. Okay.
I like it. I like it a lot, actually.
I'd say it's needed, but it's still befuddling to me that Mythic are the first ones calling a timeout, given how this map started.
I agree. I think that also Pain are probably just leaning into the fact that they kind of do have a bit of a skill diff, in theory.
They should. I agree. They should have that skill diff. Now, is it performing as well as they would like? No. 9-11 is not a one-sided scoreline. The lead by the narrowest of margins. Big U finally pulls the short stick in the engagement via utility. He's actually gotten good control here. Truck. Lead clear this. Yes is the answer. Good shot from him. Quick flick with the souvenir.
Wow.
Freak supporting. There we go. A nice second that goes unanswered. Flom did fall in me watch. I don't know where Flom fell. Looks like over towards the brackets. But Flom, if there was a player you wanted to fall, it's Flom. He's not had the best of maps thus far, and he also only had an MP9.
Man advantage for Mythic, though decently late into the round. No real response from Pain. Getting ready to go in for this A site take. Smoke goes over. 3 smokes actually going in. Pit smoke, moto smoke, arch smoke. Zevi has that op. Molotov on Skulls. Gets a flashbang. Molotov into a big pit, into the corner, as a matter of fact. Cooper just tucked into Mini. Nobody's going to clear him. He's watching for a jump. There's a player in stairs as well. Twice does not reveal his position. Now he swings, but Cooper has the next. Twice with the last. Mythic keep 4 alive off the back of the timeout. They storm to victory. And Pain Gaming are struggling here to get another round of the board. Inferno has not been kind to them in the past. It is not being kind to them here on Inferno in ECL. And it is just, there's fundamental issues with Pain's Inferno, I think, that are costing them a lot of rounds. And Mythic are capitalizing on every little mistake Pain are making, is the bigger thing too. Because Pain are making mistakes, yes, but if those mistakes aren't capitalized upon, you're not going to get punished for them. Mythic are punishing Pain for every little thing they're doing wrong. And that's a big reason why they have the lead right now. Big U needs that opening kill. A big mistake. There's 2 for Truck Lover. Segmented peaks from Pain. And that's the 2-for-1 trade on sandbags. That should never be more than a 1v1.
I think it was against compromised weapons. It was a MAC-10 and a pistol. I could be wrong.
It was an AK taking first contact.
An AK up. Oh, that's unfortunate. Very big find from Truck Lover, and Freakazoid is here to cover his teammate, or to avenge his teammate is a better way to put it, a more apt way to put it. Flom is also rotated around over towards Coffins, really sealing the deal. Bomb down, top banana towards Car. They don't know that, but it doesn't matter. It's Skulls in a 1 versus 4. There's no way he can do this. He cannot do his best Cooper impression, not without an op in hand. So I'm expecting...
He's good at hitting skulls, man. He's real good at it.
I was hoping for a caster's curse. Looks like we finally got it. He doesn't grab the bomb yet, but he's just dancing around, hoping for someone to give away an opening. Good nade. No, a little bit too deep. Skulls, does he stick it? No chance. It's Cooper swing. No. They want to play it together. They want to force the plant and go in from there. Here comes the swing. Skulls almost gets the first. Didn't quite have the ready speed required. And Mythic tie things up. They get the op. They have an AK on twice as well. This is so far from what I was expecting out of this game. Go back to... Can we see Cooper again? No. I thought somebody had 39 armor. I thought we saw somebody with 39 armor. Maybe he reinvested into it.
You have to at that point.
You do, but if you're at a point where you have 39 armor, that is a crazy state of affairs.
Yeah, what's the general rule of thumb with armor? Like, you buy it anywhere below 50?
I think it's... I would say below 50, but there's an actual statistical way to figure it out, and I don't know.
Yeah, there is.
Because it does worse the lower it is, if I'm not mistaken.
Sounds about right. I think you're right.
I could be reading too much into it. It could be a different game. Regardless, it's pistols for Pain Gaming. You've seen the pistols do damage. Inferno is a pistol map if there could be one set in the pool.
Brazilian Deagles.
Oh yeah, Brazilian Deagles. I neglected to mention that. Goes the damage on it twice. And a little bit more damage on it twice. Taken out of the round. Flom here to support, here to find something in response. Doesn't find it. Skulls grabs that A4, gets out. Won't get caught doing it twice. Out apartments and getting caught picking up the rifle.
Yep, I think he had his gun out the whole time. They sensed Zora and didn't want to fight. But in all seriousness, there was no real trade potential. That smoke really helped him out.
The smoke was a blessing in disguise there.
Although I think he grabs it before it blooms. He just is able to do it without peeking out.
Yeah, it was a little further forward. 2-2 setup for Mythic. Gives Pain a real opportunity towards A. Especially with one player underneath Porch. They're playing segmented, separated, and Big Uzera, the Brazilian Deagles, they are hitting, as you mentioned. The AK of the keys now beheads Cooper. And at this point, Team Mythic should be headed for the hills. They cannot buy 5 rifles in the following if they all go down. They might not even be able to recoup their losses, given the dire straits their economy's in. Pain Gaming might just have a flawless half-buy victory off the back of the Deagles.
This one's going to be... This is one that Mythic are not going to want to look back at. This is far from ideal for Mythic. There's no way to sugarcoat it. It's a bad loss. It's a bad loss. Even if you get these kills, they lose Truck Lover too. Freak's just hanging out in church. He's praying that he's going to stay alive.
Cards out wants that rifle at the least. He's trying to barrel his way down as fast as possible. Only Tech 9, no reason to save this, that's for sure. He'll be forced to. 12-11, Pain Gaming talked about their weaknesses and their oversights being exploited by Mythic. It's their turn to exploit an oversight, namely the segmentation on A. Twice peeking apartments alone, going out on a limb versus a Deagle. Second player underneath Porch while his third teammate is on site. Those are mistakes against pistols that shouldn't even have to be pointed out. That's just rudimentary Counter-Strike. If you're against pistols, you play together.
Yeah. If you're against pistols, you should be playing together. I mean, you should be peeking halls together in general. That's the other thing, Nate. Like, you should be peeking halls together. Yeah. Every time Pain peeked halls, there was a teammate with him. Whoever was peeking halls, there was a second player. There's always a buddy system in halls. And how many times did Pain lose halls?
They were contesting it. I don't think they lost it.
They didn't. Because they had the buddy system. You have more confidence in your own peaks. And if something does go wrong, you have backup. You have a friend. There's always a contingency. And that is something that you desperately need in the halls fight. And that's something that costs Mythic dearly in that round. That's against pistols. Yeah, it wasn't a clean fight, 1 against twice. Doesn't matter. That's a gun upgrade. Next kill makes it even worse. That was a nifty little Deagle shot by Big Uzera. But once it scales forward, there's no coming back from that for Mythic, and they are the ones stuck now at 11 rounds. Pain grabbed 12 essentially for free, and they're just going to exec in on towards the B side. Only one player here with a rifle, that is Freakazoid. That keys with 2.5. Third one finished off by Hardzow. Bomb getting planted nice and open, as Zevi will reposition across twice, and Flom will probably try and play some sort of exit, grab a gun if they can, but overall, Pain with a pretty smooth take, fast rush on the B, knowing they were up against a more compromised buy.
Yep. Also have to mention the fact that Pain Gaming won that last round has a half buy on the T side with the bomb plant.
Yep.
That absolutely juices your T side economy. Look at the money. It has been supercharged in a matter of rounds. Normally you have to wait 3 or 4 confident rounds with 3+ players surviving to get to this point. And this incremental growth. It's not the case here. Twice steals away a kill. The op isn't recovered either. Interesting. That's... Oh, wait, Twice got the op. Did he buy it? He had to... No, he grabbed it.
No, he saved it.
How'd he get it? The bomb must have blown it out middle.
I think so. That's
That is
the
a play
only
and a
reasonable
half.
explanation.
Smooth criminal.
And whenever that is referenced, I always think of the old Stewie 2K Super Stidham video.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking of. And granted, that was
And
through
then,
smoke. I think it's apt.
Yep. And the Alien Dan Farm cover gets stuck in my head for the next day and a half. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. And Danny, another classic no-holds-barred aggression, this time towards A. Trades, back and forth, even footing, 3 versus 3. No pleasantries being exchanged. It's not just a brawl out A. 3 versus 3. There's still 2 ops on the board. 1 for Cooper, 1 for Zevi. 2 Mythic go for it. It looks like they shall. Moss in hand for Truck Lover. There are no kits on hand. There might be one dropped somewhere. I can't see it though. And Zevi has dropped his dueling dragon, the secondary op, the second op in the server. And that will send Mythic packing. Op recovered by Truck Lover because it's already far away from the site. And a 14th secured for Pain. They are looking to finally close out this bloody brawl that has been map 1.
Yeah, Pain are starting to kick it into high gear. Starting to do the things we expect them to do, which is win. And with Anubis waiting in the wings, the more comfortable Pain get, I think the worse Anubis begins to look for Mythic. I mean, yes, Mythic do have a 3-2 record on it, but 2 of their wins are against Take Flight and Timberman. So, not exactly the most ideal of competition. Another timeout called by Mythic here at a very critical juncture. 2 more losses, they're done. Map 1, their pick. Arguably their best chance of a map against Pain Gaming goes by the wayside. But you did say it, Nate, Mythic never failed to deliver the entertainment. And that has been very true throughout this map.
First and foremost, the content team. That's actually kind of... Is that an insult?
I mean, they dive into the moniker of the stream team.
They lean into it. They're never one to leave a crowd hanging.
No.
And I will say they have performed, I would say, honestly, exceeding my expectations here. They've done well as a team in Exploit, they still have a lot of rough issues. Again, that segmentation against the Pistols specifically is sticking out as a bleak moment. It points out to me that this is a content team. In the same vein, they have exploited their opponent's weaknesses very well.
Yeah.
I'd say Mythic are definitely shining more than they normally do in my mind. Oh,
That's unfortunate.
Cooper drop. That's the op drop. One of the 2 saved weapons. It is a half buy for Mythic. Twice will actually get away with a rifle for once. He won't get caught picking it up.
There you go. There you go, Twice.
Oh, never mind.
Oh.
He got there so fast. The all event was playing in his head. He was listening to that song. He was hitting the steps to the beat. And,
Yup.
and Pain Gaming just ruined that for him. I'm sure he's going to have a clip of himself just hopping around.
Yeah, he's like, I'm dead.
Yep. He was cruising. He had
He was
cruise
not
control.
able to save.
He was like, "This is perfect." He's like, "I am so happy when I hit this shot in 3 to 5 seconds. It's gonna be a clip and a half." And then he just Just blindsided from March.
Oh, he's driving down a country road at 3 a.m. Cruise control set to 100. Man was flying. And then he got caught. He got busted. And Freakazoid will try and fight his way out of an unwinnable situation. He is going to die one way. And it's a flawless for Pain. 3 HP on Nickies, 4 HP on Hard Zao. They stay alive, they keep 5 up. That's just adding insult to injury, salt in the wound. The gods of Counter-Strike turning against Mythic, however you want to call it. It just seems like, okay, it was looking all right for now, but then once the going got bad, it's exponentially worse.
The going got bad, sure, but it took a long time for the going to get bad. A long time. It took over half for things to actually turn sour. And like we said, we expected it to get sour in the opposite direction. This is Mythic's favored side. They love CT comparatively speaking. So it's very surprising that Pain Gaming were able to stabilize in the later stages of their own T side. Mythic, backs against the wall, literally 4 rounds in a row required to get us to that overtime. They have M4's 1A4, excuse me. 3 A1Ss, and the op. No kit present. That's the second time we've seen that glaring issue. Pain Gaming, will they close it now, or will they toy with their food just a little bit longer?
Oh, they can't afford to toy with it too long, or else the food might start biting back. Twice could get caught in rotation, or he might get caught trying to save a gun again. We'll find out. But Cooper's going to peek up towards brackets. He has to be very careful not to get caught himself. Molotov into keys, looking the right way. Caught by the op. Cooper only takes 40 damage. He can still fight here. Man advantage to Mythic. Big start. Smoke over towards Library as Cooper rotates back at the right time. Hard Zao gets one, but naded into oblivion by Freakazoid. Now the brothers Abadir are going to group up towards the Flower Pots boost. Expected by Big Uzera. Read like a book. And now Cooper is rotated in towards Church. He sprayed, but he does stay alive and grabs a kill to boot. Skulls on rotation. Here's the first man coming behind. Twice caught with his knife out again. Flom has been spotted. It's all up to Cooper now to hold that bomb. Does he have the time?
Okay,
There's a flashbang. It's a 10-second defuse. The nade! The nade! The nade! Is it? It is! It is the nade! The cow! Wow! How lucky was that? The CT nade dropped in spawn, picked up, and tossed in with about a half second to spare.
Dogs, I have never seen a more real-time comeuppance from the lack of a kit. If he had a kit, the defuse comes through, and they stay alive. If he just doesn't buy the nade, if they have a kit on the board, they get the defuse, and the round is theirs. But no, it is snatched away by a grenade. It's snatched away by the lack of a kit. Mythic, that's the second time they overlooked it. This game, it did not fail to deliver in terms of just, I want to say flashy plays. There were flashy plays. There's a lot of happenings, I think is the best way to put it.
That was one of the maps of all time. I think is what you're trying to say.
I personally think one of the maps of all time when it's like one of those maps that it just happens, you know. This game was a genuine pleasure. You know, we had the B hop down arch. We had what do we have? We had Twice trying to get a gun and just getting blindsided.
Cooper's
twice.
1v4.
Cooper's 1v4 to start things off. We had the nade at the end. Like it was a fiasco of a game, but I would expect nothing less from a Mythic derby against a team that's just above their weight class.
Yeah, that was a fun one. That was a fun Inferno. I hope they can bring some of that over to Anubis as well. I think Anubis can be a fun one. It's still a map that is necessarily in its infancy. Now, Pain, they do like to be one of those teams at the forefront of a new map. They are a team that really likes to say, you know what, new map? Okay, cool. We're going to innovate. We're going to put in the R&D hours, and we're going to have fun. And if you guys want to play us on it, cool. We'll call your bluff. And they've done a very good job of calling those bluffs. Losses to Liquid and Strife, but I believe their recent record is incredibly good on the map. So I'm excited to see Anubis. I always like to see it come through. It's a fun one to play. It's a fun one to watch. And if Mythic have anything like they have on Inferno for Anubis, it's going to be another crazy game. I think, though, for Twice, if you're watching this, buddy, keep your head up when you're trying to grab a gun, okay? That's the takeaway. That and buy a kit. Those are your 2 takeaways for tonight for all you future pros out there.
Yeah, make sure to look both ways before crossing to the gun. Make sure to buy a kit, and do not leap for joy when you finally get that rifle twice, because you were skipping to the bank, and instead you skipped to an early death right into the open arms towards Arch. That's like 3 rounds where Twice just had those unfortunate situations. That is my highlight. That is, if I had to pick 3 rounds from this game, 3 snippets, it would be Twice dying in apartments twice, and then Twice just jumping around all the way to the Arch.
Skip to my loo, or I guess skip to my grave in Twice's case. But anyways, folks, we're gonna skip to the break, and when we return, we'll have Anubis. So stick around and stay tuned. Map number 2 coming up right after these messages.
scrappy map 1 leads us to the Sands of Anubis, the newest map in the pool. And it's a map that Pain Gaming love oh so very much. I'm Pineapple Phillips, joined by Boggs on the mic and Mythic. It's not the map they call home, but it's the map they'll start on the T side of. This is a very T-sided map in the pool. It makes sense that this is their side to start on. And they're going to group up and head to a vacated A bomb site. Skulls is here alone. He will find one before the smoke blooms, but he will not contest the bomb plant.
Twice picking up Zev is also pretty big. Gives a little more space for Mythic in this 3v4 hold.
Ooh.
I don't know if there's a kit. That was a disgusting tap on a Cooper, though. I don't see a kit down, though. I don't see one on the X-ray either, so it looks like it's going to be a 10-second defuse here for Pain Gaming. Flom is contacted and removed. Freakazoid falls in the due time. Plenty of time for that 10-second defuse. No nade heroics like we saw. If you guys are just joining us, you missed a screamer of a last play to end the game on Inferno. It was a, 10 HP Cooper trying to stick a 10-second defuse. Skulls was coming from Library to a coffin plant on B, picks up a nade after getting the kill on Flom, and tosses that in with about a second to spare and kills Cooper. So, yeah, it's been fun.
It's been a goofy game.
Yeah.
Goofy game. The twice shenanigans. I love that play towards Arch is going to sit in my mind forever. Him just bee-hopping.
Yes.
I'm picturing that little kid yelling yippee from that one video. You know the video I'm talking about? The German kid? I just think, like,
Kid Anakin, this is where the fun begins.
Exactly. He's doing little spins. He's
yeah. I'll try spinning. That's a good trick.
It was just one of the funniest moments that I've seen in a long time. Of course, the heroics as well in that game, talking about the Cooper 1v4 to start things off for a team and bring us to a very bloody battle. Pain Gaming, though, looking to put this one to bed, looking to put the series to bed, I should say, with a nice double from Hard Zao, 4 versus 3 secured. This is a forced buy for Mythic as well. Freakazoid ratty in towards the canal, does find one. Skulls, though, a good trade at range, pushing through A. He's back of the B site. Won't find Flom, but he'll do a touch of damage. Skulls now pushing in towards Connector. He's going to bide his time and wait for Flom to try and plant that bomb.
No kid again from the looks of things for Pain Gaming. And Skulls thinks it might actually be a rotation all the way back to A. It's not a bad read, all things considered. But it's not going to be the correct read. So maybe actually it might, because Flom's going to clear out towards Canal, and he's not going to see anything at all.
He doesn't have back B, though.
Oh, Skulls is going to be pretty close to meeting Flom on the B side. I mean, he's just cleared out A. He's like, all right, cool. He's not coming here. I'm going to go here. Oh, this is such a good spot for Skulls. This is such a good opportunity. Flom's got his back turned. He's not expecting this at all. He has no idea. Skulls has a free kill if he peeks left. He peeks left. He kills left. It's 2-0 to Pain Gaming.
2-0. A tense situation. But Skulls navigates the waters flawlessly, finds the kill with ease, not a bullet fired by Flom. Bomb plant secured, honestly, in a 1v2 for Flom on 25 HP is probably the best case, especially with that one kill as well to boot. That's a lot of damage done to that CT economy of Pain. It also gives Mythic that extra bolster they need to get an investment in round number 3. It's not the best, it's not the prettiest. They're lacking utility. They only have 2 AKs, but it's definitely enough to get them across the line. Pain, they have to reinvest it all. 2 MP9s, 3 M4s. They should have an edge. They should have an advantage. But Mythic have a habit of making these rounds contentious.
Oh, that's dangerous. For Nikis gets flashed in. Doesn't do much damage. Has to back away again. That'll be a swap over to an MP9. Hard Zao, the one picking up that the A4, not the AK, excuse me there. Good nade onto Freakazoid, though. Counter nade will not be tossed just yet. Smoke to recover the Connector. Heavy B lean from Mythic, though. Although Cooper's getting antsy of his backside. Big Uzetta pushing up towards middle as well. Standard Skylight flashes in towards the B site. But no pushes in, Molotov to counter that. And Mythic have burned through most of their utility. They only have 2 smokes, a flash, and a nade left with a lot of time on the clock. The boost up for Zevi as well. He's got an angle, he's got a spray, and it's a bit belabored, but he does come up with a kill. Truck Lover going to go in through that smoke. Flashbang by Flom, a bit late on the timing. And Cooper might just have been heard by Big Gazetta, who seems very wary of the bridge cross. And over out towards Platt, Skulls just gets caught in the open. Cooper removes into a 4v4. The bomb's still edging towards B, but it's being a very awkward hold now for Pain Gaming, as they're kind of just sprung into a bunch of awkward rotations. Hard's out spotted. He has to peek out, fight his way through. He can only get one. Another one for Truck Lover, who's on the hat trick. And Big Uzetta, P2K to an M4A1, 11 rounds in the magazine, can get a reload off and go in 1v2 versus Flom and Cooper. Make it an 1v2 versus Flom and Cooper. It's Flom to finish the job. And Mythic on the board even earlier than they were on Inferno.
On the board earlier, keep in mind, this is an obscenely T-sided map.
Yes.
At the tier 1, what did we see? A 14-1 followed by a 14-1 to overtime. That was a Vitality game, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe that sounds about right.
This map is incredibly T-sided. 2 rounds for Pain Gaming thus far is good. They're going to go for the investment, try to get more. Obviously, they'd love it, and they would be expected to find more given their stellar record on the map. I think, though, are the driver's seat for AK's 1 Galil. So a good amount of utility exchange for both teams, but Nikis is the one to find the opening. Down below from Connector, Hill and Freakazoid sneaking up in the water. Cooper, though, nice taps in response, but not without taking a considerable amount of damage from the scout. Nikis now progressing, getting the rifle, falling back. This is a good start for Pain, despite their disheveled investment.
The opportunity is still there for Pain, although Nikis will get finished off by Truck Lover. The wallbang spam, Big Uzetta coming in. Nice one on the Flom. Is Deagle always deadly? You always have to be aware of the fact that Big Uzetta can do damage with next to nothing. 2 players caught out. Big U sprayed away. Skulls peeks next, but he does take out twice before he falls. Hard's on a winnable 1v2 with a little hand, especially now that Cooper is spammed out. He shows with the smoke just a tad. And it's a 1v1. Khalil versus AK, and Truck Lover wins that fight. He had the low ground, but he still was able to win it, tied up at 2 apiece. None of these rounds have been clean. None of these rounds have been what you might even call concise, but it's been back and forth and scrappy, continuing what we saw on Inferno. Finally, though, Pain Gaming will be on a save, and that means Mythic should be able to win this one pretty smoothly.
Should. We have a deagle on hand for Zevi. Truck Lover doing well to start things off on a bright spot for Anubis. Talked about him coming alive, but great potential in him, but he's had some disappointing stats recently. It's good to see him punching up quite literally in that last round, but overall, I would say in this series thus far. Freakazoid double entry towards B. Just cracked wide open. That third player towards the Pizza Plat. Can't do anything. That's the site cracked wide open. The bomb is chopped in T-spawn. That's an oversight, but twice the dutiful substitute will pick it up. Big U on 8 HP. Zevi, a deagle in hand. At this point, they're just fighting for damage. Fighting for 1, I would say, is the most realistic outcome. Truck Lover finding yet another, not slowing down whatsoever. Zevi tagged down, taken down. Twice at range finds that. And a 3rd round secured. The lead as well secured for Team Mythic.
An early lead for Mythic on the T side of Anubis, a map that does tend to favor the Ts. 58.2% to 47.5 on this map for Mythic, T to CT. As for Pain, 70.4 to 51.5. So if you wanted some statistical evidence to back up our postulations, there you go.
It's not just conjecture. There's science behind it. His middle won't find anything. The player in an off angle. A lot of kind of aggressive off angles is what I've noticed for the CT side. Is the map is still figured out. We saw one specifically, I think it was round 3, towards
Plat angle?
A. The plat angle just completely off the side. So
it's pretty risky though, because it's kind of one and done.
It's one and done, but it's just what players have to go with. Skulls gets 1 Zevi, a second on the entry. Things looking good for Pain. They try to hold on the side. There's a player up close dancing around the smoke. Oh, bottom spotted. Skulls takes him down. That's the bomb dropped as well up top. That makes things incredibly awkward. Twice as Flames lick the heels of Skulls. Bring it back to a relatively contentious situation, but Zevi catches Freak lurking around. It leaves just Twice. They know where he is because of that Molotov kill. And a 1 versus 3 for the stand-in. It's not the best of situations to be in.
The sub finds a second on the round, but he cannot get anything more. Zevi survives somehow, getting 3 kills with 4 HP. A good bit of work for the Opper on the A1S, and it's a tie ball game once again. Buy can come through from Mythic, and a buy can be scrounged about for Pain. But Cooper will be given an op. Zevi be nowhere near a big green gun. MP9 for Hardzao, kit on Skulls. Pain trying to keep an eye on that potential diffuse shortening or halving of the time. Good amount of Molotovs, though. Definitely very useful on any map, but helps with all the different side entries on Anubis to have some extra Molotovs available. Freakazoid circumvents that nade, spots out the keys, who wide swings in, does about half damage. Nade will chunk Freak down a little bit more. An awkward bounce doesn't follow him up. And he's still alive here. Cooper down by half HP as well. A site wide open though, Nate. That's the problem. It's a wide open A site, and it's going to be a free take for Mythic. We're going to have a 4-3 lead for Mythic here going into round number 8, because there's no way Pain are going to get here in time to really affect too much of the round, and I don't think it's worth going in with the lack of money and future investment available to them.
It's not worth it. At this point, the best case would be upgrading that MP9, and as I think that thought into my head, he's taken out of the round. Freakazoid has a big Uzera as well. Pain Gaming have been exploited, I think, second time now at that drop towards middle. I have to play around with a little bit more reverence in that respect. I think a lot of this map thus far has pivoted around that Canal's control, so they can find another way to challenge it, like with that nade. Cooper went down to 52, as you mentioned. That was from a nade thrown via lineup on the A site at the beginning of the round. So they can do more damage like that and just hold their ground, cover their bases. Pain Gaming can get some good control and find their footing in this one, but as it stands, it's been Mythic. And honestly, it's what you'd expect on a map like Anubis. It's so T-sided.
Incredibly T-sided statistically, although a little less so for Mythic than for Pain. Pain still have it above 50% win rate on the CT side, though, so we can expect them to have a little more success here in the blue before they swap over to wear the mustard. Zevi peeking around the smoke twice, utility in hand. He gets caught napping. He's given a dirt nap, and that's the rifle, one of the 2 rifles available for Pain Gaming, yielding an opening frag. A-site woefully undefended again, though, but Big Uzera making some damage happen with a pistol. Not a kill. And Zevi's been spotted from behind, but not before he gets one in return on a truck lover. Flom holding down middle, though. I don't think he's going to be unseated. Necky's Hardzao trades it. This is now winnable for Hardzao, though. No armor, no nade. Could take out Cooper. Hardzao thinking what he should do here. The nade is well placed. And it takes down Hardzao by about half of what he had remaining. Might just be a save call now with the AK. Not really worth going for it. No armor. 2 shot. No kit. No util. 5-3 to Mythic here. And it's another one much like Inferno where things are beginning to get a little scrappy, a little bit contentious. And Mythic are starting to pull ahead in the early going. Pain did not call a singular timeout last map. I don't think that will change here. I think they'll have more confidence in their T-set at any rate. But they would like a few more than 3 rounds on the board.
It definitely would. Boggs, I want to circle back around to our conversations we had in map number 1, specifically around skins and drip. I want to talk about that AK Hardzao picked up, because it is a pile of garbage. That is not an AK I was expecting to see in the server. Yes, no, it is terrible.
No. Whose AK is that?
It is a, I don't know, I don't think the overlay that we use will tell us.
I don't think so. I just want to see who
need to shame.
Yeah.
Who need to shame? Because that AK is not it, man.
We need to ring
I know
the bell.
Truck Lover has the yeah. We have to ring the bell of shame.
Shame.
We know X-ray on Truck Lover. We know the blue gem on Flom.
Yep.
So it's one of those 3 remaining.
It's either Twice, Freak, or Cooper, and Cooper's probably not the one buying the AKs. He's had it off the last few rounds.
Headshot, I think, is Freaks as well. We've seen him with that a couple times, so I think we have twice. I think it's twice, man.
If it's twice.
Sit him down for a talking too.
Yeah.
There's a reason he's a sub. And that's it. It's the drip. You can't match.
Yep.
His knife is the
wins,
ultimate.
man.
His knife is ultimate. The ultraviolet with a clean float is what I look for as a skin. And the fact that he has a flip knife with that wear, it's clean.
Oh yeah. Is there even a purple, like a proper purple AK though?
It's a good question.
I don't think there is, because I would like a proper purple AK, although I love my NAK. Yeah. No, I gotta bleed red, white, and blue, but a purple AK would look sweet.
That's
Ches, Neon Rider's pink and green, bud.
Neon Rider, Neon Revolution. That's the closest you get, though. Pink and purple, you know? That's the closest you get.
It's not the same, though.
It's not.
Like a deep purple, like the gloves and such, you know?
Like 25 seconds left in this round, and all we've done is talk about skins. What is Team Mythic doing? Yeah, exactly. I'm wondering what they're doing. They're going for an A split, and they have navigated the waters well. I say that 2 players do fall. Freakazoid inching out does find one, as does Twice, but it's still only even footing. Freakazoid and Flom are also worse for wear. 7 seconds left. They will finally get that plant down. Zebi, though, with the op, finds one hopping around, and Hard Zao a second. It leaves Twice. He has an op in hand. With relatively low HP, he's going to be tested to his limits behind the pillar. He's dancing best again, making the most out of the space afforded, but there's just not enough. He gets found by Hard Zao. Hard cleared. And it is a 4th on the board for Pain, who have done well to keep this at a very contentious scoreline.
What a shot. Zebi had some clean shots in that round. 3 kills, had the opening on Cooper, was a solid Opera's duel. That second shot was good. That third shot was spectacular. And it'll be a double op setup now for Pain Gaming. Hard Zao and Zevi holding on to those. One's a D-Lore, one I believe is a pink DD pad. Haven't seen one of those in a while. Big U tossed over the A4. The counterpart to the player 2. I don't remember the name of that one, but no.
Which one, the 5.7?
No, the hold on. The M4A4 from the newest case.
I don't even know the name. I'm not even going to pretend to know the name.
Yeah, I don't know it either. It's just the counterpart to the player 2. That's all I know.
Is it? The new A4, the anime
A4
one?
version. Yeah.
I always consider that like an Akihabara accept.
You know, they both match.
Amakao? Yeah, I see. I wasn't even going to pretend to know the pronunciation. I knew it was something beyond my scope. Another slow start as well. Minute 10 in the round. Smoke is still down connector. Double nade out is the most contact we've seen, and that's Freakazoid down to 30. They do have a clear idea in mind, though. It's another split, this time towards B. There's going to be 2 and a 3rd defender rotating in. Hard Zao will be the first tested. He wins the opping duel down bottom connector. Flom drops in the keys, and Hard Zao is forced to tuck on, and he'll find a second. He'll spot a 3rd, getting the kill as well. It's 3 for the price of 1. Flom and Twice a combined 33 HP. They're going to jump in with Reckless Abandon. What else can they do?
Die.
Zebi, double zooming in for good measure, drops Twice. It's Flom on 1 HP. With 30 seconds left, at this point, his only real chance is to save. Where is he? He's kind of lurking around. He's down through middle. This makes things very interesting for Flom. He can get a plant here. He can get some damage in. What a rotation from Flom.
Yeah, he's slipped the gap. This man has put on a cloaking shield and vanished in towards the A site. He's going to deactivate it now, and I think Pain have realized what's gone wrong. Now they will definitely know what's happened. And they will converge upon him. What Flom can do with 1 HP is nothing. Xavier will get him with the overkill. Fantastic song, by the way. Overkill by Men at Work. But 5-all now between Zevi, Pain, and Mythic. Hard Zao, though, all op kills. Just putting on a clinic, both Hard Zao and Zevi, these last couple of rounds. How to point-and-click adventure game your way to a round victory right there.
2 shining stars of this team. Big Usera is at 2 kills. He hasn't had to do anything for his team.
No. He had one really nice deagle shot.
He did. And 5-5. This is all the rounds they need on the CT side, realistically speaking. And they still have a chance to even get 10 if they can somehow sweep it.
That's a little unrealistic, but they can get 6, 7, 8 very easily.
It's unrealistic, but they should have this round, given the scrappy buy.
Yes.
Freakazoid is investing. Everybody else is saving. Things are going awry for Team Mythic in the comms.
Yeah, things are starting to get a little rougher. I mean, yeah, Inferno was good. You got a bit of a lead, but then Zevi turns it on. Hardzao starts shutting you down. Skull's in a very advanced position. Takes down Freakazoid as one of the 3 rifles carried over by Mythic. Zevi skeet shooting. Next one down, and almost enough time to reload, rechamber, I should say, onto Truck Lover. Those bolt actions do take a little bit of time. Nice nade. Good shot.
No chance he does anything there. Is the secondary op going to be recovered? It was thrown out of the map. That's what he did. He ran up there to throw it out of the map. They tried to boost up and grab it. You saw that. How quick are Pain Gaming on the play? That is a quick read from them.
That's a quick read from Truck, though.
It is a quick read, making the most out of a dire situation. But I would say the boost up is even quicker. Given how short those post-game timers are, that boost up is crazy fast from Pain.
Pain are fast on their feet.
They are. Very quick with it. It's like they're already communicating about the rifle before the round's even over. Before the kills even
It's almost like these guys are top 15 in the world.
Hey, they're barely top 15, okay? They're number 14.
Hey.
Double stack. Okay, it's rifles. They forced bot into this Mythic. This is their investment, and they get pulled apart like that.
Yeah,
Skulls
this
with one,
is just getting bad.
with 2. It's getting ugly, and not in the way we were hoping. It's not getting scrappy. It's getting one-sided. It's the opposite.
It's
of scrappy.
becoming a rout.
A rout. Yeah, that is the best way to put it. Testing the vocab today, Bugs. Putting it on display.
I've been listening to Lord of the Rings again. You know how it be.
I've been listening to Merriam-Webster's dictionary on repeat.
Wouldn't a thesaurus serve you better?
It probably would, but you know, if you read the words one by one, I'll learn them all eventually. The thesaurus only helps for those words that I want to know. So, regardless,
pretty soon you'll just have yourself jacked into the internet anyways, and who needs dictionaries at that point, right?
Exactly. Aggressive pistol play. They want to crunch on the connector players, do some damage, and they'll do none of it. Absolutely zilch. Nada to be found. 8 for Pain Gaming. Boggs, you said 8 was a distinct possibility. We're already there. It's a reality. 10 is also still a possibility, and now it seems like a far more realistic one than it did before.
You know, I was about to say, I didn't say that 10 was probably rather unrealistic. I don't think it's that unrealistic anymore. Mythic they've lost the plot here. They've completely jumped the shark. And it started with those incredibly slow rounds, which were just mulling about for the first minute 35, and then taking a site with about 20 seconds to go. That's just not going to work. This isn't Navi 2015. Zevi, you got a friend.
What is going on?
How the heck does he get by Zevi? How does he not turn into Zevi? How does Freakazoid get that kill? And how does it become a man advantage?
This round is on a skew.
Happening?
Flom finds one in middle. That's the op dispelled of. Big Uzera, Hardzao. How to answer the call. Hardzao does well to find the first. He drops the bomb. Yep. It's a big one, but this advanced flank. Or not even flank, but push. The Mythic. Actually, as far as I thought it would be. Freakazoid nonetheless finds Big U. It leaves Hardzao in a very unenviable spot. He's trying to rotate up and around through the lobby towards middle. Freakazoid those stomping around towards the exit sign. Top of Hardzao. This is the first. We'll expect Freakazoid. Surely not. Freakazoid blindsides him from the side. And we do finally have Mythic back in the winner's column. They do get a 6th. They do pick up a rifle as well. The issue is Pain Gaming have so much money built up. There's no problem in terms of investment into the final round of this first half. And again, they're on the CT side, the far less favored side of this map. And they are sitting at 8 rounds, potentially 9.
If Pain get to 9, it's all but done and dusted. If Mythic gets 7, they give themselves a decent more of a fighting chance. It's still going to be pretty rough. Great flash in. Freak's got his knife out there. That's a bit of a rookie mistake from the old dog. And great flash in by Zevi for Big Ozetta to pick off Flom, who's blind as a bat, can't see a thing. And no echolocation either. No Daredevil style fighting techniques coming in from Flom. It's just twice Cooper and Truck Lover 86 to try and pull this one back.
Not 85, it's 86.
Yes. Which means he probably likes 86. I don't know what.
I think this is the 86th iteration. This is his 86th account.
Okay. That makes more sense.
Don't say it makes more sense. Don't say it makes more sense, Cooper.
It's an A.
Okay. Cooper finds one. That's something. Can we make a whole lot out of something? Probably not. Ollie back. Flat Harzard's already read that. He's further back. But he misses the shot. Coming up is caught. Big Uzera spamming the smoke. Finds a second. Just Truck Lover 86. The newest edition to do it all. The youngest edition, I should say. He's found the first, but it requires a heck of a lot more. He's dancing forward, not finding it. It's Big Uzera to cap it off. A very nice 9-6 scoreline in favor of Pain. We'll see you after the break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Pain Gaming. They dominated on half number one, and it wasn't even their preferred side. It's now on to the T side of Anubis for them. I'm Pineapple Phillips, joined by Boggs. And Boggs, things are not going to get any easier for this Mythic squad.
No, it's not. If anything, it's only going to get harder and harder for Mythic. They need a pistol round victory desperately, and Truck Lover starts it off well, but he can only get one. Neki's lurking in the canals, has struck for a second, as Skulls drops twice. Up to Cooper and Freakazoid now in the retake. Cooper does get one. There is a low HP Skulls as well, but Zevi up top in heaven has struck for one more. Skulls peeks around. Cranial Cave-ins delivered a bound. And Pain Gaming to double digits. Mythic barely get anything done. They should avoid a force here, go for a full buy in the third round of the half. Never mind, they're going to go all in now. So Pain will have to fight against a force buy. We'll see if Pain do body counter this. 2 rifles as of now, 2 MAC-10. Skulls will be the tie-breaking vote. And he also sides with the Galils. Pain are prepared. But do they have the gumption to deal with the 5.7s and the Deagles up close and personal? The MAC-10s will have to get those opening kills.
The shots of Mythic had the zeal required to take it against the rifles. I think it's an even more apt question in this case. And there we go. There's the gumption all the way in towards Connector already. The Pistol Freak tries to come in. It gets some damage indirectly via the team damage from Nikis, but Nikis finds 2. Looking for a third. Twice will find 1 on his Deagle, but only 1. Nikis gets the trade. Flom and Truck Lover 86, the full name, must be said. Try and pick up the pieces. There is some good damage done to Nikis, Skulls, and Big Uzera. These pistols can definitely finish them off, but will they be presented such an opportunity? I don't think so. Pain Gaming have such a thorough read of this map. Again, we talked about it. They love playing the new map when they enter the pool. So I don't think things will be easy. Flom, though, is presented one such occasion. He's too big for his britches, caught lacking. Pushing around by his lonesome. Still a lot to do, though. And again, no kit makes this all the more improbable.
Well, there's one more. Truck Lover removed. Flom. His health fading faster than the timer. Looks to just be playing exits there. Blue Gem, case hardened. Galil will be salvaged. This isn't Inferno, so he should be fine under the bomb radius. And there's 11 to Pain. Only 5 more to go before they put this series away 2-0. And Mythic can't really force around this. They can half. A couple pistols upgraded. Bit of Kevlar. No helmets. But it's far from ideal. And Pain Gaming can now really start to set into drive. To start really getting that motor going. And pushing on to victory here, which would put them at 5-1 on the season with, I believe, only 1 more game to go. They might even be at 5-1 right now. I have to check to see if they were one of the teams to whom Team 1 forfeited against. But either way, Pain looking to go into the playoffs again in ECL. Big U's out with another kill. That's the second round for the Brazilian squad. Freakazoid does counter back. It's only a MAC-10. Neki's just going for kills and money. Truck Lover lets the Deagle ring. It does sing, but he's the last man standing, so it'll be a tune of loneliness. And soon, a tune of death.
Some contemplation, perhaps. Some inward retrospection might be required. Mythic, where did it all go wrong? Did it go wrong with the first peek from Twice in the apartments to grab the gun? The second peek to grab the gun? The B-hop down banana? I'm just picking on Twice at this point. Those are just my favorite moments from that first map. They were so fun.
You were gushing about it in the
It's so funny. It was so funny. It was so funny.
It was funny.
Isn't that funny? I think in all of my, 3 seasons casting ECL at this point, nothing that funny. Bring Twice back. Permanent edition.
Please.
Freakazoid. Good for 1 in Connector. Only 1 skull is good trade. Cooper avenges his fallen brother. Regain an advantage. He'll go on the initiative as well, pushing down, looking for another in towards canals. There again is that golden AK. Not an arabesque. Rarer piece, and it will find 1. A nice headshot on the Truck Lover, 86 in the middle. Walking up, finds another on the Twice. Taking up the set of the op in towards Connector. It's just 2 remaining, Flom and Cooper. Both with big greens in hand. Versus 3, Cooper could find the opening onto 1. Smoke has a massive gap, and there it is. Cooper finds that. Well, good to reposition to try and find Zevi. Should be a guaranteed kill. Yes, it is. Good shot from Cooper. Leaves Hard Zhao in a 1v2. It's against 2 ops. dancing around back behind Pizza, back behind the smoke. Cooper's watching for it. Cooper gets the third, holds down the B site, and he does give Mythic a chance with a second breath, second life.
A second chance for Mythic. And maybe even a third, because this buy is not going to be the best for Pain. Niki's only at 1450 in cash, so he'll get armor and probably a Tech 9. There it is. No helmet for him either. He is vulnerable to the one taps of the A4, even the FAMAS in Twice's hands. 2 kits for Mythic, who are also down to the bottom of their economy. But it's a swing round here. Definitely a big one for both sides in the opposite cases. Mythic can grow back into it. Pain can look to salt it away. Very, very dangerous predicament for Mythic, more so than Pain. We're on the favored side here. Big U able to cross up mid, 2 tunnel vision to the left. That nade's gonna kill Truck Lover. Big U had no idea of clearing that angle, at least didn't seem to. Truck Lover probably could have gotten the kill if he wide swung that rather than toss the Molotov. He uses the utility instead and skulls through the fire, and the flames he'll carry on. Adds another one to his tally in the map. Cooper, Twice, and Freakazoid, the last 3 alive, and a save has to be contemplated by them because they don't have much money, and they do not know that Skulls is so low on health. This is becoming bleaker and bleaker for Mythic. Not quite yet Bleak Falls Barrow, but they're only 3 rounds away from becoming Draugr.
So many illusions, Bugs. You've definitely been reading as of late, I can tell. 3 versus 3. Yeah, it's a save, as expected. And out for both teams. And I would say Skulls, negotiating the flames there, going down to 4 HP, definitely a calculated risk to take down the op, because there's no way the op's looking at the flames.
Yeah.
He takes that to be a solid wall, essentially, and so I do really like that play. It cements the round. It forces Mythic into a save.
It really does. It's a brave, selfless play by Skulls, and it saves Pain a lot of trouble in the round. So it's a very good play. Mythic will buy around with a save, though. Truck Lover on a Deagle. Cooper on that op, Twice on the Galil. A1s for Flom and Freak. Full buy for Pain, but they're still not out of the economic woes just yet. Hovering on the edge of depression and recession, Cooper with that first onto Skulls, who runs into the op scope. Zevi hoping Cooper crosses into his X-Hair, and down goes Cooper. Headshot for Flare, delivered by Zevi. Although you don't get bonus points for flashy kills. Works over towards B and towards A. Hard Zal and Big Uzetta combine for the B site openings. Flom and Twice in rotation now. Zevi waiting for a cross. Nakeem holding Twice's push out towards A long. And Twice receives some lead to the cranium. Zevi's crossing goal. Oh, he swaps the Molotov at the wrong time. But Flom now can just try and save. Although saving will put Mythic down by double their, well, by equivalent to their score. Pain will have double that of Mythic.
14-7, and they'll have no money to go into what could be a 15th round of Pain. So to say it's desperate might be an understatement. He'll try to save at this point. Finds one. Actually, he might even go for it. The lobby. Smoked off. Where are Pain going? They have
the other way.
Back around. Yeah, they're going the opposite direction. I like the call. They have time to do it. It just puts Flom even further off kilter.
I think that makes Flom's mind up for him. No reasonable way back into the round. So he is forced to save. Big Uzetta, Nikis, and Zevi will hang around and just enjoy this one. 14-7. Anubis becoming more and more cemented in Pain's favor, as we expected coming into this one.
It is what we expected. We said the only way into it was that first map, and it would be a scrappy one, and even then it would be a flash in the pan.
T economy starting to grow too, Nate. It's starting to become a formidable force. Mythic. They scrounge what they can. The op for Cooper. Deagle again for Truck Lover. Flom on that M4. Twice on an MP9. Freakazoid 5-7. Not a singular diffuse kit. And we saw Mythic lose a map because of the lack of a diffuse kit.
There's a lot of issues in that one, but yeah, the diffuse kit I would say is the big one that comes to mind.
I mean, that was the final blow. That was the death knell.
Yeah, that the nade. There's a lot of that whole round was a fiasco.
That was one of those Benny Hill song insert moments.
Yakety sack, yeah.
Yep.
Cooper all the way up towards B long, flicks around, finds Zevi hopping around, doing his best twice impression. Advantage secured. But still a lot to do. About a minute left in the round. Flom here towards the exit sign is looking for one timing everything. He turns around. He doesn't get blindsided either. Instead, his teammate does. Big U drops Truck Lover. Flom is around as well, and in fact, he catches twice instead. Two unfortunate casualties caused by Flom's loud feet. And Hard's out now in the middle looking for a freak. Should find him. Yes, he does. Flom and Cooper, it would behoove you to save. Op and M4, the only two shining rifles in this round. And the only two remaining as well. Bomb plant down makes things all the more improbable. Aggressive op from Cooper. Short might be a surprise to find one back towards B main, but surely not much more than that. There's the first. Things can only get more and more difficult. Or will they? There's only two players remaining. Hard's out still out in a limb looking for a hunt. This could fall apart, especially with a kill like that. Cooper a third. The last player alive is again across the map. How is this given away?
No kit,
Hard's
no kit,
out.
no kit.
There is no kit. They could be like before, but it's not planted for him. It's back behind him. Instead, he'll find one. He won't find the second. That player's but he wins it! Caster's curse! How close was that? How close was that?
There's no way.
The graphic was off my screen. The graphic was off my screen. I thought the defuse was done.
Oh, there's no way.
How long? Is there a way you can check how long was left? Is there a way you can check how long was left?
I don't think so.
You have to check the demo, which means we're not going to figure it out, at least not now. But that was the closest. That was like a tick. The graphic was gone, right? I think the graphic at the top bar was gone. It has to be a tick. That is crazy.
Nate, I only said it to say it, man.
I only said it to harken back because we were talking about that round literally seconds before. It's about story weaving. But no, it's the caster's curse. $15-7 now secured. Both of those rifles were dropped, means the buy is all the more belabored. Op 4 M4s, no kit once again. Apparent team. It's happened twice. Why are you still foregoing it? Mythic.
Granted, they couldn't afford one at all at this point.
That's true, but at this point, just buy it for the sake of buying it. Big U's there coming out for two. Skull's a third. It feels like the round, and they're not even the round. The game is done at this point. Cooper and Flom, M4 and Op. One smoke between them. No helmets either. Flom down to 11, does find one on the big green. Cooper looking up. Hard out drops his teammate, and there goes Cooper. 16-7 for Payne. It was scrappy at the start, but it is much more quickly under wraps than map number one.
Yeah, that was a clean one for Payne, relatively speaking. Although it could have gone on a little bit longer, but, you know, no diffuse kit. Again. That's twice. And was it Cooper holding again?
It was Cooper was the first one to fall. No, it was Flom.
Okay, I was gonna say if it was Cooper holding again, that's more than history repeating itself. That's history rhyming, but still, history repeats itself again. Although not quite on the very last round of the map. Still, oh boy,
close enough.
How many times in all of our casts, Nate, do we mention the lack of a diffuse kit and how it's very important to have one?
I will say we cast North America almost exclusively, so we mention it a lot. A lot.
I don't think it's ever been as poignant as it has been tonight.
Normally it does kind of come to bite them at least once or twice, never as poetically as it did in this series. This series, it was
Never
poetic. It was
second.
It was a godly smite from the nade on the first map. It was a literal, like, the player got sent back in time and punished because he didn't have a kit the second time around. This series did not fail to deliver. It was one of the series of all times, is what you could call it. It was not lacking in any way in regards to the content department.
No, it was a content series, that's for sure. It might not have been the best, most pristine Counter-Strike, but it was fun. And that's what matters in the end. It was fun. There was a lot that happened, a lot of zany hijinks, and all things at the end of the day. It was a well-fought series by Mythic, who did not go quietly into the night. Yeah, they probably would have liked more than 7 on Anubis, but 12 rounds on Inferno against Pain is no small feat. And yeah, Anubis, they were playing with a stand-in. It's a harder map to play with a stand-in than Inferno or Mirage, or honestly, pretty much any map of the pool at this point. But they still held out admirably, and I mean, we can always expect Mythic to make things entertaining. They definitely made things entertaining, although probably more to their chagrin in the manner of the entertainment. Twice's B-hop antics and trying to grab guns, getting killed, harkening back to map number 1 as well.
B-hop shenanigans, the rifle shenanigans from Twice, those are going to live on for me for a long time. I know they probably won't live on a long time for anybody else, but they will live on a long time for me because those were two or three, wacky plays from Twice. Of course, the nade smite on B was a good one on Inferno, and of course, setting that, it literally looked like they were sent back in time and punished on Anubis because of the lack of kit. Because again, the defuse, the animation was gone. It looked like the round was won, and instead it is ripped away from them. Very unfortunate for Mythic. Again, I would say they could be happy with this, just given the fact they're playing with a stand-in, given the fact they're playing a team at the number 14 rank in the world, and of course they got some great content out of it. With that said, though, that's the only game we have for you tonight. There's no other games on either, as far as I know of, at least not being streamed officially. So you can go peruse the HLTV, if there is something going on, but I don't think so. So without further ado, thank you for watching. For myself, for Boggs, for the production crew, which is just Chespuff in the backlines, might I add. He did a remarkable job, all things thrown at him. We wish you a good night, and we'll see you next week with more ECL Season 45 action.